All right. Good evening, everybody. Sorry about the delay. Had some problems with OBS. For some reason, decided it needed an update or something like that. I don't know what the loading bar was. All right. What's up? What's up? What's up? Good evening. All right, 1 second, guys. Let's see here. Good evening. What's up, everybody? Yeah, those of you in the Discord, feel free to use live trading chat. All right. All right. Good evening, everybody. How's it going? Of course. We'll get to those chart requests here in just a second. Give everybody just a second. I'm a little bit late, so I do apologize for that. Not my taste. Usually, I'm sorry. But we are gonna go ahead and get straight to the news. Try to just keep this relatively short. So, all right. So first off, let's see something really quick. All right. So, Tyler, no. Due to some positions being overextended, I decided to cut my Sony calls, but I know a lot of people are still holding Sony. I was aware that those went in the money. Starbucks put or calls. I know, right? I can't figure out Starbucks whether it wants to go up or down. It looks like it just decided to pull back. It was kind of creeping up towards that high of day, but ended up pulling back really strong with everything else, Microsoft included. So we're going to go over some good plays today. We're also going to go over some busted ones. I did have a busted play, guys, that I can't tell you. It definitely bothered me, but it was one of those things as a trader, you just got to get past it, and I'm over it already, but it's something that should be discussed, because looking back in hindsight, there are some things to learn from that. So it filled the gap from pre-market morning towards the end of the day. Yeah, for sure, we can do that. What's up? Good evening, everybody. Good evening. All right, gonna tag everybody. Thank you for those of you guys who just dropped some likes in the chat. I appreciate that. Those of you who put some likes out there, appreciate you guys. The algorithm is pleased. Oh, I already did that one. All right. What's up? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get to it, guys. No delay. Let's go ahead and just really quickly go over major ETFs ending the day today. Relatively green, except for, hold on 1 second. Most of the plays that we took anyway. So SPY up 0.05%, Q's up 0.17%, the Dow down 0.14%, and let's see, what do we got? Where's IWM? Yeah, so up 0.01% today as well. So all four major ETFs, guys, just basically holding flat. Kind of talked about where they were at this morning, and a lot of these kind of made their moves at the bell, and then we did see some continuation towards the end of the day. So let's see real quick. Obviously, those of you who were trading with us or have been swinging with us, Netflix was one of those big plays that just absolutely went parabolic today. I know a lot of you guys took that trade.
and that was a really good example today of relative strength. Even though the Qs and other stocks were remaining stagnant, every time they did see a bounce, Netflix took that opportunity to continue to the upside. So we definitely saw some really good movement there. A couple different earnings, and I'm kind of just skipping through some stuff right now because it's just not super duper important. Some earnings, we had Chewy. Earnings per share was 0.04%. I appreciate those likes, guys. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Streaming on YouTube at the moment. Earnings per share is 0.4 cents versus the a 2 cent estimate. Revenue was 2.16 billion, up 27% year over year. Chewy, if you guys did not see, took a big old dump, moving all the way from 87 to 77, so $10 drop there in aftermarket. That was one that I was actually thinking about playing, but what's the ribbon on my chart called? That is called a whole ribbon indicator. Good evening, Roller Warrior. How's it going? What's up? Good evening. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. All right. Anyway, sorry about that. So as far as Chewy, we had OKTA. They had an EPS $11 per share versus the $35 per share estimate, and they fell in after hours as well. How's it going? Good evening. Yeah, for sure. So all that, just want to kind of cover some of those top earnings right there. I'm just speeding through this so we can go ahead and get to chart requests and stuff like that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do. Okay, so today, yeah, for sure. So today, guys, we had some bangers that ran. One of the first ones was RVLV, and this is why I think that having Benzinga Pro, and I obviously, as you progress in your trading, having the news first is vital. Knowing what to do with it is obviously the most important. Now, I know a lot of you guys were able to catch this trade, and I'm one of those people that when I hyperfixate on one trade, unfortunately, it takes my attention away from, you know, other plays that I could possibly be getting into, because it's just a matter of risk management. But I know that a lot of you guys took Revlon, our Revolve group. This is a perfect example. And what I'm going to do here, hopefully this doesn't like show my password or anything. Oh, will. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so Revolve group. You guys can see this already. Now, this is literally, I want you guys to take a look at the time, okay? So, yeah, there you go, Coors. Coors, you've been doing great, man. You've been kicking ass. Nice job, man. I definitely love to see when you post those gains. RVLV, we got news at 10 a.m., okay, that next generation luxury fashion e-tailer forwards announcement that Kendall Jenner will be its creative director. So, that is the type of social sentiment, right? And first of all, we just even taking a minute, just a moment to think about the impact. I may not know about that sector, or I may not know about Kendall Jenner and what she does, but I do know that she has, I guess we could just call it clout. She has literally. It's crazy. She has, I mean, she's a self-made billionaire. She's followed by tons of people. She has her own brands, and so bringing her on as a creative director is only going to help them. I can't imagine how that would hurt. It's going to bring attention. And so at 10 a.m., and we can go back, 10 a.m. on the dot. Look at this. Okay, so And this is where using my bullish moving averages, and a lot of the times it's hard to figure out when you are parabolically running, and Manny can tell you this, the 6-day moving average. I already went and back tested this. Revolve Group, when it took off on the 1-day moving average, or on the 1 minute, used the 6-day moving average. Sometimes you'll find that when a stock is moving at its most parabolic, it will start using lower time frame moving average, right? So if you're really like a Roku crazy green cucumber type move, that's the kind of thing where you'll see your most bullish moving average. And for me, the most bullish moving average that I see is a 6-day moving average. 6-day moving average. That's one that you can, you hyper scalpers, when you see a catalyst, right? Because here, I want to take you guys on a little replay really quick to this. So this is, thank you. So let's go back, and now it is 9:55, okay? So we're chilling. Nobody even cares about Revolve Group. And then we press play. So at 10 o'clock, look at my marker. At 10 o'clock, I think I had even said it. It literally explodes. So when you first see that initial movement, right? That's where you want to see, you're going to see a pullback, right? You're going to see that first initial test. And at that point, when you see a candle like this, right? You look at these wicks, right? Don't let like the 58.37. Look at the way that Revolve Group has been trading previously. Flat, choppy. You don't ever see this type of movement. So you can see here, we immediately pop. We reject that. I mean, $60 is right above it. It's really the $60 zone, but we reject right there at 59.90, and we hold that flat. So when you're scalping at the height of the day or height of volume, most volatility, it's very, very important to go down and be able to know that, like, if you're, here's the true nature of scalping. If you're scalping, you're trying to get in heavy and get out quickly. That's it. Manny will slap your hands, if he hears that people are trading full-size lots and holding them, for multiple, the whole lot, because at some point, like just a couple candles here with 30, 40 contracts, and you've already paid for a fat chunk of the trade, you go ahead and take some profit off. But being able to switch to that lower time frame, and obviously having multiple windows open, so even say like just for explanation's sake, so even having like the 5 minute, right, just so you have a little bit of a different idea. And I mean, you just get straight green candles every single way, because if you go to the 1 minute, right, a lot of people will start to look at the 1 minute like they look at any other time frame, and that in itself will scare people, right? You see this candle here, that's scary. But if you go look at the 5 minute, you see that you see two extremely bullish candles, like from that is a catalyst based movement. And of course, we don't want to be greedy. A lot of you guys saw 1,000%, 200%, 100% on a lot of those contracts. But the fact of the matter is when you get a movement like this, you take profit when you see fit. And when you see reversal signs like multiple wicks, what are these wicks? These are sellers sitting up here, right? And they're driving. It's just like that Red Rover example, right? Red Rover, I'm going to short your ass at 66.65 multiple times if you keep buying. So that's essentially that level 66. All in here, you see those shorts driving it down. That means that there's people wanting to push it lower. Now this is going to continue to be on my watch list, because if they're trying to push it lower, maybe just that they want to get it back higher. Now it's already made a substantial move. You can go to the daily and you can see that not only is this a perfect example of a daily support bounce. Look how beautiful this is. But the chart setting up the news. Now, why do we say that? I know you guys hear us talk about the chart setting up the news, but I want to give you guys a really good example. What happened to C3? Is our boy, wait, Mobo, are you on right now? Mobo, what happened here? Why is this? Is this earnings? What happened? Nadim, thanks to you, I'm up on Roku September, $400 calls. Amazing, good job, man. If you guys don't mind hitting that like button, I appreciate it. If you guys like the stream, you guys on YouTube, I appreciate you guys. You guys already slapped the likes. I appreciate it. Okay, so real quick, you guys saw the news that came in on C3AI, and if you look, right, this has been being driven down. This is a classic, very clean reversal pattern called a falling wedge. A falling wedge, a very obvious setup, and what that is usually a reversal pattern. Yeah, September is usually the worst for the market, which if it does really well this month, that'll be extra scary. But anyway, this is exactly what I mean by the chart setting up the news. And as you'll notice, we actually rejected the gap fill on Revolve. And that is another way, right? So if you were out on a higher time frame, even if you enter the trade, don't hyper focus. I know this sounds really stupid, but like when I enter a trade that's high momentum, I have to remember to breathe. Because I'll stop breathing. I swear, I'm like, okay, let me, and it just causes me to be like, all right, I need to take a step back out and look at the higher time frame, because you would know, right, that at a gap fill, from bouncing off support to going to a gap fill, that's a huge move. So more than likely you would reject a gap. But anyway, I was going to say C3 had ER or something. That's crazy. But with C3, they had that news come out, and they did end up seeing a really high volume day, pushing all the way to 55. I know a lot of people in our group, including Mobo, were able to take that trade. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to give you guys that example about how I use Benzinga Pro and why I use Benzinga Pro, because having the news is crucial. And if you only, right, and think about this, if you only trade high momentum, and I don't even know really how to word this, but like catalysts that are real. I'll just say that, like authentic catalysts that come from something, FDA approvals, right? It could be a partnership, a merger, acquisition. It's obviously case by case, but being able to read, absorb that news, and look at it from an outside perspective, be like, okay, is this going to cause movement, and how can I easily, or not easily, but calmly, go and set up a quick trading plan for and obviously looking for things that you recognize, like any type of curling, if something flushes, bounces off a major moving average, like you can go and look for a big volume bounce or something like that. So good evening, everybody who's just joining us on. I appreciate you guys with the likes on TikTok, 266. Wow, appreciate y'all. So anyway, that's kind of obviously seeing option activity helps, but so I want to give you guys. Obviously, we had a couple of other trades today. I don't know if anybody caught Lemonade. Lemonade was a decent trade. I was waiting on that one forever. Finally, and today was kind of one of those days where I just, it may have been the start of the day, but it happens to everybody. But I just, a lot of the trades I just ended up cutting, and then they ended up, ended up trimming, right? So a lot of the times when I don't like the price action, I'll trim exposure. And today was one of those days where it seemed like as soon as I trimmed, things started to push. But Lemonade was another really good play. This one, I'm not quite too sure if we're going to see continuation. This one will likely head back down to support. I think we'll bounce at 76.35. When it goes to 76.35, that will be possibly the third tap of support and will likely bring us down to 75. If that happens and this ends up being a rising wedge, and I'm not quite sure if it is yet, then we will take Lemonade to the downside short. And that's only if we stay within this pattern, because the higher time frame is a falling wedge reversal pattern. So the higher time frame is going to trump the lower time frame always. But of course, getting insight on whether or not you'll see that continuation is important, and that's why you use multiple time frame analysis. So. All right. Is Robert? I would say that TOS can't. There's no way. Because I know that TOS is not getting news as quickly, and a lot of the times before the article even drops, the Squawk Box will sing it out, and I really we're gonna take a look at Roku here too as well. But anyway, yeah, that's essentially what I think about that. So. All right, so another trade. I can't even get rid of that. I gotta keep that on. All right, so another trade is Roku. All right, so Roku. Let's take a look. And my fiance, we were joking around, but I was asking her, like, hey, like, what are my favorite chart patterns? And then she actually knew which one that I hated the most. And the one that I hate the most is a pennant. Like, I think I can't stand when pennants start to form because I don't like bilateral patterns. But here on Roku, there was a multitude of different setups that we ended up taking. But this kind of like Netflix, and Netflix did have news today, which definitely could have sent this to the upside. But one of the things that you'll notice here is when you finally break out of this falling wedge, a lot of falling wedges here. But once you fall out or come out of this falling wedge, right? And we can go to the 4 hour, clean it up a little bit. So there you go, right there, falling wedge. And you hold this support, the 350 support, like a robot. Literally, it's dead flat. Every single time you go back down to break it, you get a really strong support. So what do we always say? If it doesn't go down, it's probably going to go up. And especially on a big company like this, if you see that volume pop, and that's exactly what I was looking for today. So if you go and step out to the hourly, you can set a level here, and you'll notice that you get a bunch of wicks, right? So you're in a little channel here. So the entry, and you get faked out here. I mean, that is awful. That is a testament to letting the candle close. So when you see this, and people ask me all the time, how do I know when to re-enter? How do you know when to re-enter? Because I'm using multiple time frame analysis. Because if I see this candle, right, and the candle, and then the next candle pulls back, I'm waiting for a bounce, not a break. Do you really think that after this candle, you're going to end up deadpan reversing? When you close that candle, you have the highest volume that you've seen since you've been in this channel, right? So like you're in this channel, and when you close this hourly candle here, that's your sign. That's a sign that volume is returning and that you can potentially wait for a bounce. You look at it like, just like you would look at a stock that's losing momentum, like almost like a predatorily, like, yes, I will chart ATER for sure. Let's see. Yeah, just gonna do this recap real quick. So on Roku, right? I think one thing to remember is a lot of people, especially, just a second, homie, I'm on YouTube Live right now. So whenever you break to the upside, right, and this is why I mean multiple time frame analysis is crucial, everyone. It's so crucial, and it's the reason why you guys see me hold, right? You guys see me hold things when a lot of people say I just exit, I couldn't hold it, and I exit things and you guys hold it because I'm a human being and I have those days too. But whenever I'm usually in my groove and I'm able to analyze multiple time frames here, I'm not necessarily looking at the 5 minute to show me accurate candlestick analysis. A 5 minute candle engulfment could only mean a temporary pullback, whereas an hourly candle engulfment can mean a reversal to either side, correct? So in this case, not taking this 5 minutes seriously, but going to this 15 minute, you can even see there, right, that you're just simply getting a retest of the very same levels that you've broken out from. Amazing brother, pop off on occasion. Okay, bet. So yeah, exactly. User says buy the pullback. So you're looking, when you see a continuation candle, you see nice high volume, right? And you want to see, because a lot of people will ask, like, I don't want to chase. I don't want to chase. Well, then wait. Be patient and wait for the pullback. When it goes up, it will come back down. And remember what I talked about finding that correlating moving average? Well, I like to use, obviously, the 9-day moving average when we are running off of some type of news catalyst. And we'll go over Netflix, and I'll show you why. But for this, right, just using our standard 9-day moving average, right here, you notice that a candle never closes below the 9-day moving average. Never closes. And what do we always say? Let the candle close. Let the candle close. This is Roku. So, good play today, and diamond handing that bounce. And so, and we know that stocks like Roku can see some good movement like this. So, and then let me just really quickly, before I defer too far, Netflix was another great example of playing lower time frame support bounces. So here on and I know for those of you not on our platform, this was actually, you know what, I could just do this. We definitely I know a lot of you guys are in the Discord, so you either held this or what, but we had the Netflix September 3rd 585 call, and those were at 101, and this of course ran and hit 590. Those calls ended up going in the money, so that was one hell of a play. But this one, right, and I was more focused, I was on other stocks. We even played Roblox today. We'll go over that as well, and I'm gonna go ahead and cool down the recap for the most part and leave the less exciting ones or just the boring ones aside, so that way we can get to your chart request, because it's nearing 9 o'clock. But no, I'm sorry, man, it's not. I can't do that to people. It would just be spammed up. So anyway, Netflix, right there, 20-day EMA, another moving average that you can rely on, as well as that 9-day moving average, right? With Netflix, this is where you find that once you get that bounce there, you know that you have established a support there. So, but this one was just absolutely parabolic, running off of news. It also got pumped on CNBC, and that was like another catalyst that only added fuel to the fire. And this was also, not to mention, I won't pretend like I wasn't potentially looking at this short. But this actually ended up busting out of a rising wedge. So it actually broke that pattern. But okay, so Roblox, and then we're gonna go ahead and shut up and do some charts. Thanks for your guys' patience. Okay, so initially, you guys will remember that I actually wanted to take Roblox again short. Why did I want to take it short? Because it looks like a massive bear flag on the hourly, massive, but pretty big bear flag here. So I was looking at the bear flag, and look what happened in pre-market. You actually end up faking out, but buyers are sitting at that $80 level, and we actually ended up not entering the trade, which was beautiful. We waited a few minutes, and that's what we usually do at the bell, is we kind of hold off. Yeah, if you guys want me to take any of your requests, then just hop on the link is in the bio for the YouTube. Appreciate you guys. All right, so anyway, sorry, with Roblox here, this one ended up anytime in pre-market, right, where this is just, I'm just going to keep this simple. That's a huge engulfment, right? So where you would have likely seen continuation after a break of 80, you didn't. You bounce off of 81 extremely hard, and not only that, you recover that support. So simply using orb, right? So this is a strategy that a lot of people try and charge people to use. We've covered this in the chat multiple times. And this is mostly used for scalpers, right? So these are people who are going to be able to, yes, of course. This is going to be one of those situations where you're going to be buying, obviously putting premium into 20, 30 contracts. So, what did you say? Whenever you have pre-market highs, right, you can mark those pre-market highs. So our pre-market high is right here. This is a good scalping strategy. Pre-market highs and pre-market lows. Now, right at the bell, you actually end up moving from your pre-market low. You open below pre-market low and you bounce. So you automatically would have likely, and this is actually what I was talking to somebody about earlier. So let's go. So we were actually sitting on top of one of our supports as well, S2. That was at $81 as well. And that was one of the targets. So a break of 81 and then potentially a drop to 80. And if it broke below 80, then we could definitely see some continuation to the downside. But since it rejected, bounced back up and climbed back into that pre-market range right here, you would wait for that pre-market high break, and then you could potentially enter and take that to the upside. So that's a really good, I'll take a look at skills if you guys want to hop on the YouTube. I appreciate those likes. Okay, so anyway, opening range breakout, nice push up to the upside, and we ended up hitting that target of $85. I took profit on the dot, and that was another good trade today as well. So that was an opening range breakout strategy that we used as well. So okay, let's go ahead, and a couple of stocks that I'm going to be watching tomorrow. I'm going to be watching LegalZoom. One of the reasons why I'm watching LegalZoom, and I actually think that this may make for a pretty good small account play, and this is only if it bottoms out here, which it might. I'm looking at these two candlesticks right here. Maybe little tweezer bottoms, we'll see. These wicks are pretty long. If this gets forced lower, then I'll take this down at 32. But one of the reasons why I decided to buy this is because, look, those are cool. Where are we at? Alright, so hurry up, please. Okay, so Alan S. Lowenthal but purchased an undisclosed amount, somewhere around $1,000 to $1,500 or $15,000 worth of LZ. He did that on 8/30. And so I'm not quite sure if they're going to have some sort of news, but it's definitely going to be on watch for me. And these two candles here, if we end up seeing a reversal and a wick fill above, if we climb above $35, then LegalZoom could see some substantial upside. Now, this kind of reminds me of Roblox's IPO. So if you go to Roblox, take a look at Roblox. Actually, let's do this. So let's look at LZ, which is LegalZoom, and you guys tell me what you see. So Roblox, the difference here is we end up breaking to the upside. LegalZoom breaks to the downside, but has its bounce here, right? You get a huge bounce. LegalZoom runs from all the way from $33 to $36. But now we're pulling back, and like I said, below that those wicks, $34, you're definitely going to see a pull back to $32.40, somewhere in that range. And that's where I might buy it, but I'm just following people here. Yes, what's up, Optasy? What are you garroting me for? Yeah, for sure. Okay. Our trading day was really good. Yeah. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and let's drop those chart requests, guys. Okay, for sure. Yeah, I'm down. A bearish candle on the 3 to 5 chart would be considered a pullback, but a bearish candle. I could say, you could say that a 30-minute candle reversal, right? Like, or a bearish 30-minute candle is going to have a higher impact, like an engulfment candle, than anything else. So, I mean, and here's the thing. So look at the 30. This is a 30-minute candle, and that's an engulfment, and you lose a little bit, but you bounce and you reverse and go right back up. So it's all about like the strength behind the candle. Like this obviously shows a lot more strength than that engulfment here. So, yeah, if I'll take all of your guys' requests. If you, the link is in the bio for YouTube. All right. Yeah, if you'll hop on the YouTube though, because I'm gonna kind of set that down so that way I can focus on charting really quick. So, all right, so ATER and wait, so Tesla and ATER, the first ones here. Okay, no problem. All right, so let's start with Tesla. We'll start with the daily. Beautiful. What's going on here? What did my drawing? Okay. Ooh, look at that flat line on the HMA. Okay, so I think we've discussed this before about basically the channel. This is we are in a bullish trend. It's not like a super hyper bullish trend. But what I would suspect with Tesla, and really quick, I'm gonna do this. And the reason why I'm doing this is so I can go look back at timestamps. So at 9 o'clock I did Tesla. You can't timestamp while you stream, unfortunately. It sucks. Okay, so channel trading here. This is usually a reversal candle. I would suspect that I would like to see this bullish moving average kind of move up. Of course, this is going to have a lot to do with, I do think they also got some news today with possibly being another probe. Was that, maybe I'm mixing them up with somebody else, but I believe they had another probe come in. So I'm looking at skills for sure. I'm about to pull it up on the chart here on YouTube. So appreciate those likes, guys. So on the hourly time frame, you are met with a double top. So below this 50-day EMA, which is at 729.35, unfortunately, you're likely going to pull back, and your pullback mark is going to be at 716. The reason why I see that pullback all as well is because naturally, when you get to the top of a channel, and I'm pretty sure that my channel is a little screwed up. So running across those wicks, you get a correction here, but there's more respect here on those wicks. So looking at this low volume, basically almost a gravestone doji, right? it is a neutral candle in the sense that it could stay here, right? Below, if it goes below 729, 730, right? So complete reversal, more than likely the 9-day moving average, 716, 715. And that's if you pull back. Another dynamic resistance or support that you can pay attention to is you can draw your support here. Go down to your hourly or even the 4 hour if you want to kind of, so look at how clean that is. You see how clean that is? So take a look at that support. What are these little crackhead lines? Get out of here. Look at that beautiful support. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I got you, brother. We'll pull up skills. So look at Tesla right here. And hold on a second. Why do I not have... I apologize. Settings. Oh, I'm tripping. Okay, well now you can see Tesla there. That's a really shitty watermark. Alright. Okay, so Tesla right here. This is your trend. So here's a multitude of things that could happen. So you could pull back to this 20 EMA, that's 725, right? And maybe see one more bounce up to resistance. That resistance would be around 745. 745, 744. I imagine it would hit 744, fake everybody out. But that's potentially where you could see Tesla moving up to. Or this is 1, 2, 3 bounces off of support. So if you break to the downside, you are absolutely going back. So what I would do is draw that dynamic resist support, add an alert to that support. From that support, I would go ahead and add an alert to this neckline of this little double top that you got. So there's your there's your double top, right? So double top there. Break below that 50 EMA, which is at 729.21. Set an alert there. Set an alert at 730. And then I'll also set an alert at 728.50. And those are little macro lines that'll help me make sure that I don't lose this trade. So any opinions on the video by November? Sure, let's take a look at it. If you guys will make sure, drop one ticker at a time, and once I get done with one ticker, I will move on to the next one. So that's just so I can make sure that I get to everybody. Okay, so Tesla right here, top projection, 742.30. You could see a potential leg down tomorrow, 725. So watch for a bounce at 725. Come here, little shit. All right, and then the re-entry could be the same 730 level that you break below. So 730 above 730, 735 or 733.75, and then of course that previous mini breakout level 736. I would say 740 right after that. So appreciate those likes here on TikTok. Yeah, we have quad witching, I think, coming up relatively soon. So what's up, everybody? All right, so we got Tesla. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Now, it could be worth using your pivot points. Back down to 700 at a rejection here, and you could continue to trade in this channel, right? So pull back, maybe you even hit the. Look at how the pivot point. Oh yeah. So let me correct this. So this thing. Oh, I like that. So if you decided Sorry guys, I'm live charting, so as soon as I see something, I'm going to tell you exactly what I see. Okay, so right here, if you decide, right, so if you decide to reject, I mean, it's all dependent on the market. But even if you hit that pivot point and flush, right? The same thing with this channel, right? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where you kind of can start looking at whether you want to take a bounce. Now, September is a historically doo-doo month to trade, and you'll notice that in this channel that it's kind of starting to consolidate. So choppiness could incur at this point, and I would recommend going long on most of, at least as far as like for your protection insurance wise. But anyway, with Tesla here, that is a neutral candle, but also can be a rejection candle, and even a simple retest of your 9-day moving average here on the daily, or excuse me, not on the daily, but on the 4-hour. Yes, I did see Ethereum. Ethereum is likely running off of NFTs right now, so that is crazy though. Wow. Yep, crazy stuff right there. All right. All right, so let's go ahead, and we got Tesla and ATER. Oh. That's not gonna work. All right. Sorry. All right, so it looks like, I mean, to be honest with you, earnings came out rounded. The volume on this is outstanding in comparison, so I'm not quite sure what the hell's going on. I don't know what this stock is, but this is a pretty standard breakout retest, so this is actually the correct line here. But what happens is you actually break out of that falling wedge, you make a new high, you hit that $10, and I think what's happening is you're kind of flushing down. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some consolidation in this $10 zone, but that volume, I think it's important to know what the fundamentals here, what they are in this situation, because if you have a setup like this and the stock's fallen so much, it's important to know why, and then obviously evaluating whether or not it can continue to the upside. Did I have a mentor? Yes, I did. I had a lot of mentors, but I mostly, when I did have the chance to ask people questions, I'm pretty sure they never wanted to talk to me again, because I would like bombard them with questions. A lot of them. Because that's the best way to learn from another human being. With human beings. We're social creatures or something like that. That's what they say. All right. Yo, Opticy, will you highlight the next tickers for me? If you can, does it let you do that? Yeah, good evening, everybody. Skills, yeah, I'm about to do that one right now. So ATER, again, look at I would really want to know what the fundamentals are on this one. In fact, hey, watch for that to play out. Okay? So I'm going to leave this here. If you don't break and wick fill here and reject, you could go make a new low. Maybe not even that drastic, but you could end up seeing some sort of falling wedge there, but that's kind of an exaggeration. That's a really good question. 1 second. Opposite, you're ridiculous. All right. So we got that one, skills. All right, so obviously a reversal candle here, ending the day with what looks to be a little bit of a bear flag. I think, let's look at the daily. Okay, so you are, ooh, interesting. So you're actually holding this 4-hour HMA. That's a major moving average. We talked about this the other day, how this thing will kind of just swing out of orbit, be non-existent and not in play, and then when it does come around, it's very highly respected. You can see right when it comes around here, it basically flatlines skills until it ends up breaking below it. Here, same thing, you flag on that HMA here, you actually reject that HMA, so you know that when the HMA comes around, it's to be respected. Bounce here, rejection here, it's pretty gnarly, actually, come think of it. So the fact that we've climbed above it, what I would like to see is I'd like to see the 9-day moving average. I'd like to see that cross over that HMA there for a 9-day or a 9 MA HMA crossover. And it's just a moving average crossover. A lot of times when you see, so here's the theory. When your lower time frame, more reactive, so 9-day, 6-day, 10-day moving average, 20-day moving average crosses over your higher time frame moving average, that is representative with volume as a sign of potential continuation. Okay, so skills right here, daily time frame. I believe that I actually charted this one the other day, and here you are. So this is, again, and you guys are probably tired of hearing me say, well, actually, nope, I take that back. So that is actually, and like I said, live charting here, that is a down, like a channel down, so it's just a simple channel trading. It looks like you hit that 50 EMA and dumped. And that is a channel top rejection. So you didn't quite execute what's called a dark cloud cover. So a dark cloud cover is usually when you get this. So like say this candle here stopped right there, that would have been somewhat of a dark cloud cover. It's usually some candle like this where you gap up and then you end up closing with 50% or more of yesterday's gains lost. So that's with skills. So with skills right here, it's important to set some of those major support lines, which you have already bounced off. That's probably why you saw such a significant bounce, because you ended up hitting, oh, the IPO low. Skills hit IPO low. And then you ended up getting rejected here at 13.7. That's not good. I will say that. I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty sure that below $12, you'll likely see yourself at least back down to 11.30. That's, like I said, that's a channel top rejection. So as soon as you start working your way into today's gains, or the Monday's gains, so once you start pushing down to like 11.76, if you break 11.76, more than likely you're going to revisit that low again. So, all right, Tesla's done. I got skills. Let's see. Thank you guys for your guys' patience. I appreciate it. So an HMA is a whole moving average, right? And what that is, it's going to be a more reactive, very fast. So you can set different parameters on it, right? So you could, I think, what are some of the more popular? I know I use the 500 HMA because it is a very impactful moving average. I know a lot of people use the 10 MA, but like I said, just like the 9-day moving average being a little bit faster than maybe your EMAs, with your HMA, that is going to eliminate the lag, right? So it's trying to improve smoothing, right? So rather than seeing jagged, you're seeing smooth, like the 9-day moving average in this case, right? And that's kind of what that is, and it can be used on lower time frames in order to get a better indicator or more reactive indicator. So yeah, I think I'll stop after October. That's funny. Yeah, of course. So that's skills. Skills is in a channel there. Try and turn this around. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, of course. All right, so thank you for saying please, Briston. I appreciate that. HBI. Roland Warrior here. Haynes Brands. What settings? 500 is the input. Jason, you want me to take a look at Lucid? No problem. Opticy, will you DM me the next ones or something? Actually, rather than that, can we make that happen maybe? Okay. Thank you. I'm at HBI right now. I'll highlight that one. I don't know if you can actually do that, but if you can, that'd be dope. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's go and let's take a look at the daily time frame here. Okay, so that's wicked up. Cool. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. All right, looks like you got my least favorite pattern. Bilateral. Look at that. Look at the chop. Look at the chop around that center line. Look at the chop around that. So you need to get back above 1980. You need to get to $20. You need to get to $20. You need to break. So watch for further consolidation. You do have a double bottom, correct? So I would suspect to clear the apex, as Forex traders will call that, the apex, so that big jump up here, 1975. So let me go ahead. Would you like me to drop this in the chat? Oh, dude, you're awesome. Is that in order? Oh, you're the best. You're the best. Thank you, Opticy. Round of applause. Oh my god, my battery died. Is Atlas Junior on right now? All right. So I'm going to yes. I'm moving on down right now. Thank you guys for your patience. I always appreciated it. Always appreciated. Oh shit. Hold on one second. Sorry guys. There we go. Okay, perfect. I was just gonna send this chat to, or send this chart to you. I'm gonna post this. I can post it on my Twitter too. Just post all my You know, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I just start doing that every time I finish a chart. HBI. All right. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. All right, so we got Apple after that one. Ah, yes. So Apple now it is struggling to hold the top of this channel, right? Now, this is normally a bit of a reversal pattern, right? So you're channel trading here, you get some decent news, you ended up moving to the upside. Right now, it's pretty obvious that this may end up being the predominant setup. So if you continue to the downside, which you'll notice a lot of charts are set to pull back in the morning and then bounce. Now we'll see if we're right. Hopefully, maybe someone records me when I say that and then plays it back to me tomorrow, and we'll find out if that's true. But if we go to briefing.com and we take a look at the economic indicator or economic schedule here, oh, the beige book. So we have September 2nd, high impact data, 830, puts, right? So maybe we gap down, right? Right. No, shooting. So maybe we even gap down, right? Pre-market pull back down, 150.85, and then maybe a bounce back up and ending the day really strong. And that would potentially set us up for a reversal. But if you can maintain, right? Let's see here. No. So if you can maintain, you might be able to push back up. But this has a whole lot to do with how we finish tomorrow. So, or how we open tomorrow with that data. So. There you go, Rolling Warrior. All right. Okay, so with Apple, I still think the price target remains of 157. I think 158 is probably the top for Apple, at least somewhere in that range. This thing is even in this channel, so take a look at Apple, and it's about time that we come down. So, and when we come back down, Apple can pull back down. So I suspect that in the coming days, and you guys can tell by the way that we ended today, that's an inverted hammer, right? That's sellers pushing this down. I would suspect that we go back and pull back to around 150. So 150 is my target on Apple. I'm tweeting these all for you guys to, and posting them in the chat right now. So every time I finish one, I'm just going to post them on Twitter and post them. All right. Cool. Thank you. All right. Apple Hut. All right, so Hut moved up today as well. This one I know, who was watching this one? Maybe it was, I think it was Atlas. This one's pretty clear. Look at this, look at these lines. You ready? It's like a damn key. I guess, oh, it's just should make a sound effect. So I would suspect fake out. Look at the 9, look at the 50. Or come here, you little shit. Or you double top out here. So, because normally in a pattern it's 1, 2, 3 bounces off support, but that doesn't always reign true. And honestly, you could see a fourth. I say 885 is my price target at the most to the top side or to the upside. Oh god, Optice's message is retracted. What happened here? Okay, so that's kind of my diagnosis on Hut. In fact, I would say, oh yeah, that's pretty accurate. So watch for this 9-day moving average to curl over and act as a bounce. I think overall you look relatively bullish, and I'm not sure if this is Bitcoin related. Oh wow, Bitcoin's about to is sending it right now. Bitcoin is about to head to 50.5 potentially. Okay. All right, so we got Hut. SQ. Okay. So look at how the stock reacts against its pivot point. Okay. The pivot point lined up perfectly with support. Also, notice pivot point lined up perfectly with support. Now, square below, candle closed below 267.50, right? That's likely 267.50 and 266.25. Below that, you're in for some downside. 262.83. But I would be very careful about shorting a pivot point. I would honestly, looking at how this pivot point's lined up with support, I would be looking for a bounce. And if we gap down, right? Watch where we gap down. If we gap down around 266.77, it could absolutely rip. Still rip. So, that's kind of what I'm thinking there with Square. And it's in that bilateral pattern. And it's really, if you go and you split it in half like we do, right? Look at that. Look at this split. That's where we're holding underneath. So we got to get back above that. So watch for one last bounce, a rip up to 275, potentially 275. Maybe a little bit short, but all right. SQ, mRNA. Opti, this is a huge help, dude. You have no idea. All right, so pivot points right now. Turn those off. Oh boy, that looks like not good. So right now, as far as I know, Moderna is currently dealing with its FUD, right? So finding contaminants. This is obviously overseas, but nonetheless, that's never good. Good to see. Ribbon, please, on SQ. I'm sorry. Sure. Let me go back really quick before I move on too far. Oh, you know what? I need to post this chart. Thank you. I should have done that anyway. Thank you. Sorry, you have to excuse me. I'm just redigesting this whole ribbon indicator really quick. I want to make sure that I have. That's the right one. Okay, so to be honest with you, it could stay green. I mean, as long as it gets a bounce. I just set lots of alerts on that. Sorry, I just had to make sure I did that. Okay, so mRNA. Oop, that's not a ticker. Okay, so I mean, honestly, I think in this space, so maybe a retest of 415 at the most. I don't know. You've already hit that, so I wouldn't even go that far. So you could see one more test. But again, that's one possibility. Another possibility is that you just bottom out, right? That's definitely, it could happen. The weekly, and that's kind of what I was going to go look at here. The weekly almost looks like a flag. So take a look at that. So it looks like a weekly bull flag on mRNA. So pulling back to even 354, or at least holding this position or holding this level, you could absolutely curl up and head out. So weekly bull flag, not bad. Oh, Opti was the mRNA guy. So I would watch to just hold. I would want to hold 257.50 at a minimum. That's the minimum that I would want right there. Otherwise, that becomes almost a bear-like flag. If you can head back up to support or to resistance, that would be 413.51 and 415. Okay, so Invax. Thanks for your guys' patience. Appreciate you. Ouch. I appreciate all those likes. Sorry, I know I'm taking a while, so. Alright, that's what I see. I would mark Norva 270 or 26. I could see 270 or even just 268.50 tomorrow. If you push to the tomorrow, it looks like you're trying to hold that 9, but you're definitely going to start consolidating here. There you go. That is a possibility there. Yep, shorts and shorts and shorts. So watch for a little creep up. Pull back down, maybe even 245. Consolidation, and then maybe a crack at that top channel. Yeah, no problem, y'all. Okay. All right, so SPY. All right, well that sure looks like a reversal sign. All right, so I kind of called this. If we pull back tomorrow, guys, I said at the beginning of the week that we could possibly run, and then towards the rest of the week with the economic data that we had in store, that more than likely we were going to pull back. And looking at the chart right now on SPY, I would stick to that sentiment. So here's the deal. SPY is already breaking support. That's where we ended today. So below 351.50 and 350.50, that would have us breaking support. So I would imagine that SPY will see continued downside from there. The 18th of every month. You know, May 18th is my birthday. It's typical. Once you turn 18, things start to go downhill. Sorry, that was dark. I'm just joking, guys. All right. Okay. Yeah, I see the trend. And I mean, it definitely looks the same, so... So here's the danger of getting too biased. So I think we stay here. So if we stay above 450, then we just basically give ourselves more distance to push. The whole suite settings are based on what type of trading you're going to be doing, or what type of trading that you want to do. Swing trading, day trading, etc., etc. Okay, so SPY, I think we got that one pretty much nailed. All right, stops. Oh man, this thing's kind of in price exploration mode. We'll have to do something here on the lower time frame. So this is definitely going to operate more off of psychological numbers. 73. Let me guess, that's 75 right there. So 75, they try and push that lower, they don't get it lower. All right, so it looks as if they're trying to double top you here. I think that you could probably expect this. Yeah. Yes, so I would expect for a pullback back down to 83, potentially 84. Watch for a bounce at 83.45 or 80, basically 84. So watch for a bounce at 84. And then potentially a retest. Now, is this angled? Damn, a lot of bilateral patterns here. Okay, so watch for that pullback and then maybe another bounce up to 90 bucks. Oh God. Why don't you look at that? Yo, the chart set up earnings. It built a rising wedge. So this is one of the reasons why when you see, even this doesn't matter what time frame, if you see an initial pullback, right?
Yes, sir. LOL. Yes, sir. What? Oh, sorry. I missed that.
So I don't like when I see big bases like that, right? It kind of almost sets you up for reversal patterns. It's like almost like they pull it back down. They give you guys a reason to buy the dip, retail, and then retail buys. They dump it on it again, just rinse and repeat until the price action consolidates, and then you dump it. So earnings pull back to that 1165. That's what the candle actually closed right there at that main support here for ABBV. You did bounce off of your daily support, so check that out. Pretty cool. Running up there. So it might be worth taking a look at for a dip buy, but if you go look at the hourly, if you continue below 1185, I do imagine that this may end up being a reversal pattern on the daily. So I'm not quite sure. That's where it goes down to fundamentals, I guess, in this case. So yeah. All right, so docs, ABBE, BABA. All right, so there's not much here I can say, but investors starting to try and get excited. I think that they are meeting here relatively soon about Chinese stocks. So that's going to be ultra important for the whole entire Chinese market going forward. We are at a previous rejection point for BABA. BABA's rejection point came at 174, but this time didn't really see much of a pullback or a rejection like we've seen before. We will see what the prognosis of BABA is in the morning, because usually that's where we usually where we see the most movement. We'll see a gap down, gap up, because right now we're in a level of a period of great indecision. And so you'll see that right here. I want you guys to pay close attention to this, because I don't want you guys to get wrapped up bag holding. God dog, actually, now that I'm noticing this, a little scary. So BABA, look at this chop here, right? Now you're at a channel support. You have to bounce. You can't keep not bouncing. And I've had people argue this support here. It doesn't matter which support it is. It doesn't matter if it's this one or this one. It's still at support, and it's gotten that bounce. So you've bounced here, right? And you can look at this previous bounce. And even if you wanted to do this, right? So this is absolutely a lower time frame support, right? So you could say above that 20-day EMA, and you may even go up and retest that $200 level on BABA. It's quite possible, but you still stay and remain in downtrend. Am I getting?
It's 10 o'clock.
Oh. Anyway, so my thoughts on BABA are anywhere above the 20 EMA on the daily. You've got gaps to fill to 180, but I want you guys to see that if you go down right here, besides the 50, right? So the 50 EMA is one of the most respected EMAs here, and I'm going to show you. This is super cool. You guys should be excited. So when you go and you find a stock's most respected EMAs, time, whatever those moving averages, they are like rubber bands. And you guys have seen me do this with BABA. You've seen me do this with Baidu, JMIA, and a multitude of other stocks where I can basically find what time frame and EMA set correlates the best. So here on the daily, the 50 EMA seems to be where we reign true. Now that's as far as retests are concerned. You'll notice here that when you gap up above the 50, then you lose it. You reject it a couple times, move back down under your 9, and then you ride the 9 down. Now, same thing here. You literally reject that 50, and then you gap up above it. Same thing here. You go back down to the 50, you lose it, you dump. You move up here, you reject the 50, you don't make it above, you dump. Do you guys catching what I'm putting down, or whatever? However cool people say that stuff. You smell what? No, that doesn't. I don't like that one either. But you guys get what I'm saying here with that correlating EMAs. Look how, I mean, you can go and back test this, right? So there, and then right here, the 20 and the 9 take over. But here, initially on retest, that's where you'll see a lot of resistance. So above 176.25, you could see a run to 190.75. So that's my thoughts there, Ababa. Sorry, how did reading your comment? Oh no, Opticy, water in the basement. Shit. What indicators the green? Yeah, thank you guys. Okay. That Baba breakdown, y'all. Don't sleep on that one. We'll see what we get tomorrow. I'm gonna be all over this one. All right, Baba. All right, so that kind of looks like a Head and Shoulders, but oh Lord. There's no way. Broke, and that's why it struggled with that channel. So that was a channel top. All right, so that top line doesn't matter, and really what it's going to be, because it's moved past any type of resistance like that. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and slow it down here. All right, so here's my just giving you what my thoughts are on NVIDIA. It's obvious that you're in an uptrend, especially on the higher time frames, but it is very likely at this point, looking at the whole of an indicator and looking at where you are on support, that you may start pulling back. Now, the 9-day moving average on the daily is sitting at 221.35. So below that and below 219.50, you're probably going to end up reversing. Or, and don't get it twisted, because it doesn't, just because something rejects doesn't mean it won't taper or pull back very slowly and then wait for support. So you'll see that kind of like this, right? So you don't, not a dump, but just kind of controlled pullback, and then a big wick immediately, continuation. Boom. So I would kind of suspect the same thing here relatively so. At least some like Atlas just like hit the like button a lot. It makes people, apparently TikTok does that. It likes it. That's the Nancy channel. That's facts. Now this, maybe, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so this is going to be the same story here on AMD, and now that I'm seeing AMD, it only makes it worse for NVIDIA. Now, more than likely... Yikes. So this is the same story here. Look at that. Oh my god, AMD's going to... When it pulls back, y'all, AMD's going to pull back, I think. Alright, so you might be making like a 1 hour... Yeah, that is a really bad rejection. 114.64 all the way to 113, and then you end the day here at 109. Absolutely not. So below 108.75, guys, I think that we'll see AMD to the downside. Yeah, I very much think so. So look how the 200, see how the 200 is lined up there? That's my mark. Okay, now here's the deal. AMD, broken trend. So above 110.50, you could go and see 112, 113. Below 108.65, first target will be 107.50. Second target 105.35. Baba. All right, BBIG. Looks like they got it with a double top. Came out of a falling wedge though. Yo, oh my god, dude. I don't have it falling yet, but I posted out a free on Twitter. I don't think anybody saw it. Or nobody said anything, but literally a beautiful rising wedge. The dip was right at that 50 EMA. This morning I said if it doesn't break below $6 and hold a candle, then it likely will go ahead and head for a reversal. And that's exactly what you saw today. So today was a good example of that falling wedge reversal. And then you ended up seeing some solid continuation after that. So, or excuse me, the other day, Monday, Tuesday, and then you end up running today. So, honestly, here, if you break and go anywhere around 832, candle close on the hourly, you will be heading back down to 7. If you reverse and bounce tomorrow, watch for that retest of 1032, rejection, maybe further consolidation in this area here. All right. Oh, what am I doing? So you could see a pullback here on Amazon, but here's what happened today. Looks like we're gonna have to go to the 4 hour. Oh yeah. Look at that rejection, y'all. So you're in trend, and in order to fill that gap, you have to break resistance. So that's the crazy thing about this setup is at downtrend, you have to break that resistance. You'll notice the whole ribbon indicator. Look at all of these. They're coming and they're kind of splitting that in half, holding it up. So back down, maybe even just holding 3450. 3450, and you could bounce back up and potentially see a breakout there and go fill the rest of your gap. And that's what I would suspect here. On yeah, it's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up here. We got 1, 2, 3 left. My battery died. Okay. Yeah, so it also wait. Talking about that gap? Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. So I mean that is a very small gap, so it did pull back and fill its gap. That is not ever a good sign whenever you're in an uptrend to see multiple pullbacks like that. I imagine you will see pullback or a little bit more further. I think you're going to gap down, to be honest with you. I think you'll gap down probably around 34, 35. So, all right, Amazon pins. Penn's still struggling to hold this level. I'm just keeping that one simple. Take that one above 58, back up to 60 potentially with some volume. If you can get it to 60, I would watch the 50-day EMA here at 62.50. But hourly setup right now, you did end the day with you finished the day holding up relatively well. So really above today's high of 58.17. With the immediate target, and that is a big resistance there, but the immediate target of 59.50 and then potentially 69 or $60 flat. So all right, yeah, of course. Sorry, that caught my attention. No. Everything is right there. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that looks bad. So you broke two supports. So here, you'll notice the chop. So what has happened here? There it is. So you've broken below this channel and now you're retesting it. So back below $20 and this is going to trend to the downside, more than likely to 1935. A recovery could happen above 2150. PayPal still off support. I still think that you could see another stab at 300. It looks like on the daily though. Yeah, so anytime you get too far away from, and I tell you guys this all the time, anytime you get too far away from your bullish moving averages and you hit a major resistance, normally you'll use that space to consolidate. So that's kind of what I would suspect here is a little bit of further consolidation. You'll notice on this previous bounce here that you get a few red days, a few flat days. So let that 9-day moving average catch up And that's kind of what happened here. You get too far away from the 9 and you slow down. So you're going to want to hold this level, hold that 284.40 level on PayPal. So all right. Well, Lucid. This one's going to fill its gap to the upside. That's pretty much what happened today. I suspected that there were dip buyers would come in. So now you've established a pretty big shelf here. I would say anywhere above 1835, and you can potentially go and retest. I mean, I would say 1985 and fill the rest of the gap. If you go look at the gap on the daily, the gap is filled at basically $20. And I mean, oops. No, that's not right. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, anything like that, you bounce back up and you retested this level right here, 1750, right? So you're gonna want to fill that gap and move forward from there. But that was a classic head and shoulders play out there. Damn, why didn't I play puts on that? So yeah, that thing absolutely dumped. So finish the gap fill, and I would say break this downtrend. So I see you heading up to fill that gap and then rejecting at this resistance here. So what time frames am I using? There you go. So everyone, I will, if I haven't ever looked at it before, or if the daily isn't making much sense to me and I'm not seeing the trend, I'll just move to the weekly. If the weekly doesn't show the trend, then maybe I need to go look at a smaller time frame. But overall, usually that's what I'm using. So to kind of decide which one I use. But anyway, all right, guys. I am gonna go ahead and eat some food. I am really hungry. Kind of missed dinner. So, but I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. And I think what I'm going to be doing here in the future is getting a pre-request stock list from people in the Discord, so that way obviously you guys are prioritized and I can get to your tickers in chronological fashion, so as they come in, and then take all requests after that. But all right, guys, tomorrow morning we'll see you guys on live around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Depends on if we get any pre-market movement. But make sure if you guys don't follow the Twitter, have that little bell, on YouTube as well, so that way you get an alert. So, but anyway, you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll catch you guys in the next live. Peace.